Welcome back to the dark side of the Great White North. Ontario is known for its vast landscapes and historic charm, but beneath the surface lies a history written in blood, betrayal, and whispers from the grave. Today we're counting down the top 10 most haunted locations in the province. From restless soldiers to vengeful spirits trapped in stone, these are stories that refuse to be buried. Lock your doors and turn down the lights. We're going deep into the shadows. 10. University of Toronto, Toronto. In the heart of Canada's largest city, the University of Toronto holds secrets far more terrifying than any exam. The most famous legend involves University College and two 1850s stonemasons, Ivan Reznikov and Paul Diabolos. The two were locked in a bitter rivalry over the same woman. One night, Reznikov attacked Diabolos with an axe, but Diabolos was faster, plunging a dagger into Reznikov's heart. He hid the body beneath the floorboards of the building. For 30 years, the murder remained a secret, until a massive fire in 1890 revealed a skeletal remain wearing a mason's belt. Today, students report seeing a hulking, shadowy figure wandering the halls near the Croft Chapter House. He isn't looking for a degree. He's looking for the man who stole his life. If you see a door with a deep axe mark in the wood, walk away. Reznikov is still there, and he's still angry. 9. Ruthven Park, National Historic Site, Cayuga. Deep in the rural landscape of Cayuga sits Ruthven Park, a stunning mansion with a chilling connection to the War of 1812. The original owner, David Thompson, was a man of immense power, but even he couldn't escape the tragedy that seemed to follow his family. Legend says that on the very night Thompson died in his bedroom in 1851, a massive, unexplainable crash echoed through the nearby town. The front facade of the newly built Cayuga Courthouse, a building Thompson had a hand in, simply collapsed into rubble. Locals believed his spirit, finally freed from his mortal coil, knocked it down as a final act of defiance. Today, visitors hear the rhythmic thump-thump of a phantom rocking chair in his bedroom. Staff have reported the smell of old tobacco and the feeling of being watched by a stern, invisible figure. It seems the old squire never truly checked out of Ruthven. 8. Fort George, Niagara-on-the-Lake. Fort George was the site of one of the bloodiest battles of the War of 1812, but its most famous ghost isn't a soldier. It's Sarah Ann, a 7-year-old girl who died of a sudden illness within the fort's walls. While the Watcher, a tall, menacing shadow in a cloak, stalks the ramparts, Sarah Ann is much more playful. Tour guides have seen her following groups, peeking around corners with a curious smile. One guide even saw her shadow cast against a wall by a lightning flash, even though no physical child was there. But the fort has a darker side, too. In the officers' quarters, a woman is often seen in the reflection of an antique mirror, slowly brushing her hair. If you look back, she's gone. At Fort George, the past doesn't just haunt the grounds, it stares back at you from the glass. 7. Algonquin Provincial Park, Canoe Lake. Algonquin Park is beautiful by day, but when the mist rolls over Canoe Lake, a century-old mystery resurfaces. In July 1917, iconic Canadian painter Tom Thomson disappeared into the wilderness. 8 days later, his body was found floating in the water with a 4-inch hole in his temple and fishing wire wrapped around his ankles. Was it an accident, or was it murder? Since that day, hundreds of campers have reported a lone figure in a gray canoe, paddling silently through the fog. He never makes a sound, and just as you get close enough to see his face, he vanishes into thin air. Some say he's trying to point toward the spot where he was truly killed. Others believe he's simply forever tied to the land he loved. If you're out on the water at dusk and hear the dip of a paddle but see no one, pray you aren't the next mystery of Canoe Lake. 6. The Olde Angel Inn, Niagara-on-the-Lake. At the Olde Angel Inn, The resident ghost has one very specific rule: keep the British flag flying. His name is Captain Colin Swayze. During the War of 1812, Swayze delayed his retreat to meet his lover at the inn. When American soldiers arrived, he hid in a large empty barrel in the cellar. The soldiers, suspicious, began stabbing the barrels with their bayonets. They found the captain when blood began to seep through the wood. To this day, his spirit remains in the basement. Patrons in the dining room often hear heavy boots stomping on the floorboards below, and place settings are found rearranged in the morning. But beware, whenever the Union Jack flag is taken down for cleaning, the activity turns violent. Objects fly off shelves and the temperature drops to a bone-chilling crawl. The captain is still on guard, and he doesn't take kindly to enemy territory. We're halfway through our journey into Ontario's darkest corners. The next 5 locations are where the activity turns from eerie to truly dangerous. From the Screaming Tunnel to the Blue Ghost, the worst is yet to come. Stick around for next 5 locations, if you have the heart for it. Five. Kingston Penitentiary, Kingston. Kingston Pen was Canada's oldest and most notorious maximum security prison. Behind these limestone walls, the air is heavy with nearly 180 years of suffering, riots, and executions. But the most active spirit isn't a prisoner, it's a dedicated guard named William Wentworth. In 1961, just days before his retirement, Wentworth was stabbed to death by an inmate during a shift. To this day, staff and tour groups report the sound of jangling keys echoing through the empty North Lodge. Some have even seen a shadow man in an old-fashioned uniform, methodically locking cell doors that were already shut. But don't let the friendly guard fool you. In the lower hole, the isolation cells, the energy shifts. Visitors report being shoved by invisible hands and hearing a low, guttural growl that vibrates in their very chest. In a place built to break the human spirit, it seems some spirits simply refuse to break. 4. Blue Ghost Tunnel, St. Catharines. Tucked away near the abandoned Welland Canal is the Meriton Tunnel, better known as the Blue Ghost Tunnel. Its history is soaked in blood. During its construction in the 1870s, over 100 men died in gruesome accidents. In 1903, a head-on train collision right at the entrance crushed 2 firemen to death. The haunting here is visual and terrifying. Paranormal investigators frequently capture a distinct, human-shaped blue mist hovering in the darkness. But the real horror lies in what's under the water nearby. When the canal was flooded, an old pioneer cemetery was submerged. Hundreds of graves were left behind, now resting at the bottom of a dark pond. Many believe the Blue Ghost is a guardian for those restless, flooded souls. If you hear a phantom train whistle or a dog barking from inside the empty stone vault, run. You're standing on a gateway to a watery grave. 3. Fort Henry, Kingston. Fort Henry sits like a stone crown over Kingston, but its history is a dark crown of thorns. It was a place of brutal military discipline and high-profile executions. The most famous resident is Niels von Schultz, a Polish revolutionary who was hanged here in 1838. His spirit is said to haunt Commander's Room 3, where visitors suddenly feel an overwhelming sense of grief and nausea. But he isn't alone. Guards have reported seeing the wandering ghost, a headless figure in an old artillery uniform who paces the ramparts at night. Then there's Gunner Smith, a soldier who died when his own rifle misfired. People still hear his agonizing screams echoing from the dry ditch surrounding the fort. At Fort Henry, the war never ended. The soldiers are just waiting for an order that will never come. 2. Casa Loma, Toronto. Toronto's famous castle, Casa Loma, looks like a fairy tale, but its halls are filled with the echoes of a stolen dream. The billionaire's dream that became a ghost's playground. Sir Henry Pellet spent a fortune building it, only to lose everything and die penniless. His spirit, Often seen as a stern man sitting at a desk or staring out a second-floor window, is said to be perpetually angry about his lost fortune. But the White Lady is the one who truly terrifies the staff. Believed to be a maid from the early 1900s, she appears in the cafeteria and the tunnels, her face a pale mask of sorrow. Most chilling is Mr. Happy, a sarcastic name given to a shadow figure in the stables who is known to pull hair, grab arms, and breath down the necks of visitors. This isn't just a museum, it's a 98-room cage for spirits who can't let go of the luxury they once knew. 1. The Screaming Tunnel, Niagara Falls. At the top of our list is a place that needs no introduction to horror fans. The Screaming Tunnel. Don't you dare light a match. This small limestone drainage culvert under the railway tracks holds a legend so dark it has inspired Hollywood films. The story goes that a young girl once fled a fire at a nearby farmhouse, her clothes ablaze. She ran into the tunnel seeking water, but perished in the center, her screams echoing off the cold stone. Another version says her own father set her on fire in a fit of rage. Whatever the truth, the ritual is the same. If you stand in the middle of the tunnel at midnight and light a wooden match, the flame will be blown out by a phantom wind, and a blood-curdling feminine scream will rip through the silence. People have fled the tunnel in tears, claiming they felt the heat of a fire that wasn't there. It is the purest, most concentrated haunting in Ontario. In the Screaming Tunnel, the darkness doesn't just watch you, it screams at you. 10 locations, hundreds of ghosts, and a history that still refuses to sleep. Ontario is a beautiful province, but as we've seen, its shadows run deep. Have you ever stood in the Screaming Tunnel at midnight? Or felt the touch of Mr. Happy at Casa Loma? Let us know your stories in the comments below. And remember, the next time you hear a floorboard creak or a whisper in the wind, don't look back. Some things are better left in the dark. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.